Hello, my name is Emily Young, and for my career profile number 2, I've chosen marriage and family therapist. I did not know anybody that's in this particular field right now, but I did find Dr. Amy Fuller, who is a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she lives here in Houston, Texas, and she lives just a little ways away from me. And I have her profile attached on my career profile. Excuse me, worksheet. The typical working environment for a marriage and family therapist, it needs to be very tranquil because you need to make sure that your patients are at ease, and you need to make sure that they can feel comfortable telling you whatever they need to tell you. And you can have an office in your house, or you can have an office in a suite in a building like Amy does. She has an office downtown, but it's all really dependent on what you want to do. It's very flexible because you can be your own boss. You can have a private practice through set your own hours. You can decide how much you want to work, or you can be working with a company like the government agency or hospitals. They need marriage and family therapists. You can open a practice with a couple other doctors to be a marriage and family therapist. It just depends on what you want to do, how much flexibility you want, and really how much money you want to make. Because the more hours you work, the more money you're going to make. So you just need to decide if you need to make a lot of money to help support your family or a little bit of money. While we're talking about money, let me just go ahead and tell you the starting salary range was about $25,000 to $35,000 for marriage and family therapist, and the experienced salary range was anywhere from $45,000 to $75,000. And again, that's all dependent on how much you want to work, because you can really set your own hours. The education for this is a bachelor's and a master's with 2 years. I have a cold. With 2 years of experience required, and each state has its own requirements for you to get a license. You have to have a license to be able to practice. So if you're going to be moving from state to state, you're going to want to check and see what each state requirements are, because some states, they have different requirements. So your license it doesn't go from state to state. You have to be licensed per state. Some of the typical benefits are health insurance, the retirement plan. You have your 401k. If you're working with other people, you'll have more financial security than if you're just working on your own and have your own private business, but you'll be able to control your hours more, so there's some give and take there. Typical stressors, it is a really high stress environment because you're working with other people, and it's really hard not to let those problems be projected onto you and to get you down. But you just really need to have yourself well put together and to have a good outlook so that you don't feel weighed down by other people's problems, or you need to make sure that you're somebody who will not be frustrated by a lot of yelling and arguing, because there's probably going to be a lot of yelling and arguing going on, but it will be done hopefully in a productive manner where you will not yell back at the individuals you're counseling, but you can help them be calm and have a tranquil environment so that they can feel comfortable talking to you and trusting you and listening to you and your advice that you give them, that you can really become their friend and that they can tell you what they need to so that you can help them become better. It seems like a really rewarding field to go into, and it seems great for a stay-at-home mom like I want to be, because you can set your own hours and you don't have to work quite as much, but you can still have that education to help your own marriage and family as well as your friends. And to have, if you have a large house, you can just set a private entrance into one of the rooms, maybe on the first level, and just have your own office there so you can work from home. I would maybe suggest not doing that if you do have a lot of kids, because you want to make sure you keep your home and your work life separate, to make sure that you have, the stress doesn't encroach onto your home life. You want to make sure that is different. But all in all, that is kind of what I really think that can benefit so many families and so many marriages, to have them stay together and be healthy and happy, and they can be better parents and spouses, and it will just be a better life altogether. So I learned a lot from this, and this is my career profile. Thanks. Hope I get an A.